episode, Workingish Moms.
Mm-hmm.
Can we explain how we got there?
Yeah. Um,
Well, you came up with this title.
yeah, it was a really weird coincidence of things, I feel like, because I texted you randomly and was like, hey, I feel like we should start a podcast. And you were like, immediately down.
My dreams came
You're
true.
like, I don't know what we're talking about.
No, my dreams.
But we're doing it.
Yeah.
You already had a podcast microphone.
No.
I thought Kyle got you like a whole setup.
Oh, yes. No, you're right. It was just like a hack dream. Like for my birthday, he was like, oh, I'm going to get you. Because he knew I wanted to start a podcast. Like, that's like my dream. This is my dream. So he was like, I got you this for my birthday. He got me like a microphone, like a little tripod. And I was like, I'm not going to use this. I was like, this is just like what I want to do. But like, no one's going to listen to me. So I just like imagined scenarios in my head of like what I would want to talk about. And I just like kept it in the closet.
Told you I shouldn't have like walked around before we started because now I'm sweating.
Just take a sip.
Hyperventilation.
She walked to the bathroom
and back,
and she's
it wasn't built for this life.
That's okay. Take a sip. We'll do this. So she texted me and she's like, I want to do a podcast. And I'm like, say no more.
Literally, you said that.
No, you did I?
Yeah.
Yeah, you twist my arm. I'm done. Like, I don't even know what you want to talk about. And my first question was like, why are you texting me? Like, out of all the people in your, like, why are you asking me? But I don't want to like put that in your head. I'm like, she's already asked me. So it's like a done
she
deal.
has to do it.
Exactly. Yeah. But why did you ask me?
Well, I just thought like we're both wicked funny and like we just have really good banter.
Yeah.
And I feel like we have a very similar outlook on like
Momming.
Kids, parenting, our relationships. And it's not like exactly the same, but like we just find humor in it and like the chaos of it all.
Yeah.
And I feel like we just like as humans need that. And there is like a lot of chaos right now in our lives, in the world, and like
it took us like 3 weeks to get here.
Yeah, just like sitting down, not even like, I mean, we talked for 20 minutes before we like turned this on. Mm-hmm. So like just the fact that it takes us so long to like be able to like remove ourselves from our day-to-day lives and like make a plan and stick to it and be here, like it is just a lot to have like something extra, right? Yeah. Like that isn't
surrounded by other people.
Absolute need.
Yeah. So why don't we tell everyone like
who we are?
Yeah. Like how we met.
Yeah. How we met, who we are.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I feel like it's important to kind of know us as humans and mothers and wives.
Yeah.
To, feel
friends. Yeah.
You can go first.
We went to staying together.
Which is a high school.
If you don't know and you're listening.
First of all, know us, get to know us. You already know us.
It's true. You already know us. If you are listening, it's because you know who we are. But if you don't. So yeah, we went to the same high school. And
now they're going to know exactly where we live. So like, thanks for like already killing us before we...
Act like we're like I'm gonna have stalkers.
Yeah.
No. Oh. No one cares where we went to high school.
Or who we are.
We went to the same high school. I was in the middle, like you were a grade below me, your sister was a grade above me, and I was in the middle. But we didn't like hang out.
No, but like I always thought you were funny. And like in my world you thought I was funny, so like that was all I needed.
But we did hang out maybe like a couple times.
Yeah, well,
like
you
in
were
a party
older,
setting.
so like like clear line, we didn't hang out.
No, you're not coming where I'm going.
No, exactly.
And then after high school, I hadn't talked to you in like years and years.
I have no idea, like from
where you don't know anything about me actually. Right. So this is going to be good for both of us. Right. She's going to learn a lot about me. So we went to the same high school. We ended up reconnecting because our kids are going. I won't give that information.
Obsessed with each other.
Yes.
Well, one more than other.
So we're planning their marriage, but that's neither here nor there. So we reconnected because our kids are in the same school. We both ended up living in the same town. And that's kind of just where it all like happened. And
Mm-hmm.
then we started talking more because of that. But did we always like follow each other on social media? I think so, right?
I think so.
For some reason I can't remember, even though you have like a really funny like
So I have like a very weird relationship with social media. Like I post a lot of stories and like look at people's stories and like during my break time as like
yeah,
a
like an
mom,
escape.
worker, like whatever. Like the second I just like have a second to just like take a minute to have to myself and like exit reality, I like
Mm,
go on Instagram, look at stories for like 2 minutes, close it, or like if something else comes up, just shut off.
mm-hmm.
And so I'm really not on it too much. Like I don't deep dive in stalking
That's
people
really
and like
good.
yeah, it's just
I don't
like
either.
I get snippets of like what's happening real time in people's lives and that's it. So then when someone's like it looks like I'm on social media all the time and I must be like scrolling and looking at other people's accounts and stuff and they're like, "Well, did you see that I did this?" or like, "You saw that so and so got married." And I'm like, "No, I had no idea." And they like are like, "Oh, okay, like you're a
Awkward.
liar."
Yeah. Feel like I see you on there.
Yeah, like I know that you
Yeah.
are on Facebook all the time. I literally never go on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm not
Um,
on Facebook that much either.
yeah.
But I think that's a good thing. The kids are saying that like no like cool
Yeah.
young people are on
Right.
Facebook. I'm
Facebook's
not on
not cool
Facebook.
anymore.
No. I'm on the TikTok.
Yeah, and like
And you're
I
not.
no, no.
This is just like another one of the things that like
I
divide
see
us but keep us
TikToks
together.
on Instagram,
Yeah.
and that's like how and then also people like text me a TikTok that's really funny. I mean, it's also funny,
So
and
funny.
relatable, and
But it's like it is if you do try to keep like a healthy relationship between like not going on social media, TikTok is not something that you want to download.
yeah,
It's not good. It's so funny and it's such a like I can cry on there, I can laugh on there, I can like you can scroll in 5 minutes and it will feed you so many different things that like it's so exciting
yeah,
to scroll,
yeah.
but then it's like you're on it for what you feel is like 5 minutes and then it's like 3 hours later and you're like where am I?
Yeah, I hate that feeling, and
I
I
do
hate
too.
being in that
I do
spiral of a
too. But
situation.
it's like at nighttime, at the end of my day, when it's like
I
I
know.
want to just like decompress. I
Hmm.
don't want to think about anything. I want to like laugh and scroll.
Yeah, show me something I need to see.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it does.
I
The
know.
algorithm I've built.
I love it.
I
Yeah,
do too. I
yeah,
do too. Um, okay, so anyway, so I don't even remember what I was saying, but
yeah. I mean, went
we
to high
met her.
school
Okay, yeah,
together.
yeah, yeah.
Fast forward, we're moms together. Like,
Yep.
you know, living in the same town. We never lived in this. We always lived in the same area, but never the same town.
Our parents are friends.
Yeah, our parents are friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, like yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah. So we're like connected in like
Yeah,
a few different ways.
yeah.
And now we're truly
I
connected. You
know.
can't get rid of
No.
me. Um, but okay, so like your life, what is your life? Like if for people who don't know you, I know you. But like
I mean, what's my blood type?
please.
Tell everyone.
I actually don't know mine, but that's
I don't
another
either.
story.
I don't think I. Well, I
We
mean,
should.
someone knows mine. It's just not me.
Our moms.
No, my mom definitely doesn't know mine. I'm lucky. My dad even knows my birthday. I don't even know how old I am half the time.
My dad definitely doesn't know my
Yeah,
birthday. Anyway,
or my
that's
middle
another
name.
episode.
Yeah, seriously. Is your dad even your dad?
No.
So I'm 37. I'm going to be 38 this year. I feel like that's a key piece of information just because, like, I look so young.
She doesn't look 37.
No, I'm just kidding.
Wait, when's your birthday? What sign are you? Do you go in?
Gemini, which is hard for me because
I don't even know what that means. Do you?
yeah,
Oh, good.
and like I feel it daily. Like Geminis are kind of like all over the place, sporadic, moody. Yeah,
Really?
but like good. They're like positive people to have the creative,
Yeah, there's
like
like two different sides to it.
energy, but also like you just kind of don't know who you're gonna get.
Yeah.
It's like the twin
You wake up
sign.
and you're like, which will I be today?
Yeah, and like I could be that for an hour.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden before you know I have like a pep in my step and I'm super like giggly and funny and goofy and I'm like, "Oh my god,
She's
like
back.
yeah." And my husband's like, "I don't even know what to do with you right now because I'm still mad at you for being such a bitch earlier."
Yeah. I feel
So,
like it's
yeah.
fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm not even fine. So I
No.
don't even know how he should be.
No.
So I have 3 boys, which like I'm just like proud to be alive at this point.
What's their age gap?
Their ages, so my first two are 19 months apart. I wanted to have them really close in age, um, which was shocking for me to do because I didn't know how that would feel. You just don't know
No.
how that feels to even be a mom of one, never mind a mom of two that are close in age. And then like COVID hit when my oldest was 2.5 and my youngest was one, like just turned one. And then I was working from home. And so, anyway, like I always knew I wanted 3 kids, but it was like a really tough sell on my husband. So, shout out to Rob for giving me another kid.
Thanks, Rob.
However, like still hard. So, yeah, now I have, fast forward now.
Yeah.
Nixon turns 8 in May. Otis just turned 6, which is crazy. And then I have Griffin, who is going to be 2 in June.
Griffin has never let me hold him.
Yeah.
And
well, he's a good judge of character.
He may never, but I will force it. He is such a little chunk of love that like I will force myself on him.
Have you tried giving him a snack?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh.
I know.
He's just also at that age. Like,
no, I know. He's
1.5 to 2 is like
clingy.
Something clicks where they're just like, you're not my mom, and I know who I love now, and it's not you, or it is you, and that's all they want.
It. Yeah. But it's one day. One day it will be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Griffin, he's adorable.
Thank you. So yeah, three boys. I never thought I would not have a girl. That's like a hard reality, I think. Like still,
I've heard that from boy moms, like for them to just like wrap their mind around the fact that they're not going to have a girl, that's like a real thing.
Yeah. I like have been very clear that I want a girl, but I also have been very clear that I want 3 children. So like at some point you just need to like be realistic with yourself about like, okay, I just, you either have another one, which you still don't know if it's going to be a boy, or you're done having children.
Yeah.
And so when we got pregnant with my third, that I had 3 C-sections. The first was an emergency. I wanted to have them all naturally without trying not to have an epidural. My pain tolerance is really high. Like that's something people should know about me too. Is like I look really young and my pain tolerance. You look
young and dainty, but like you can take it.
Yeah, like don't mess with me. When we decided to have our third child, I knew I had to have a C-section, and I knew I could get my tubes taken out or tied.
Yeah.
So I had to make that decision, and that was part of my hard sell to Rob, was like, have another baby with me, and you don't have to get a vasectomy. And
meaning like to have a fourth, or this is before Griffin?
This is before Griffin.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Let's have one more. Let's have a third child.
And then you won't have to have a vasectomy.
Yes. Because like he did not. Like that is not. He was like, I just don't think I could do it. Which like, I'm telling you, I know what everyone's saying already is like selfish, right? Like how could a husband like say that after your wife has gone through so much? Like a vasectomy is like 3 periods probably for a woman.
And it's like an in and out procedure.
Right.
Like my husband refused until, I'm so sorry, I'm going to say it, like he got put under.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't care how you do it. Just
get it done.
Yeah. But it's like they're just not like built the same, and that's why they're not having children.
Yeah.
It's not like an insult. They're just not built the same.
Yeah.
Like Kyle looked like he was going to physically pass out. So like he'll say like, I just couldn't do it. So they just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
It's like we're not gonna hold them, I remind them sometimes, but like I'm not gonna hold them to it. We're just different.
Yeah.
But anyways, anywho.
So yeah, done having children.
Okay.
And I would say the third time around has been so different than the first 2, just because they were so close in age. And now seeing them like being part of like raising this like sweet,
they're very
cute,
like fatherly to them, or like big brotherly.
They like take him on as their own, and like they're so good with him, responsible, kind. I mean, they're definitely rough. They're boys.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
I mean, there's times where I'm like, someone's gonna die in this situation. I'm not sure who it's going to be.
Yeah. What do you do? Like, what do you do for work? Like, who
Oh.
you talked about your children, but like, there's more to Kelsey than
Okay.
her children.
So before we get into what I do for work, it's kind of always what I've done for work to some extent. But like when I was pregnant for Nixon, my first child, like 8 years ago, I commuted to work every day. It was like a 45-minute commute. I really liked what I did, but like there was zero flexibility. Like
Yeah.
there wasn't even talk about really flexibility back then. You know, like
Yeah.
people that had remote jobs, it was
Like beneath.
like entrepreneurs, like and
Yeah.
like people that lived in LA.
Yeah.
Like we didn't have that around here. Like you'd
No.
commute to Boston or Providence.
I'm willing
like,
to move.
get the free agent. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't have a manager. Go on.
I'm really good at podcasting. So I like every day to work would cry to Rob on the phone because he
Yeah.
also commuted to work, and I was like, I just want to be home with my child. Like, I don't want to spend my whole paycheck for someone else to raise my kid. And like on repeat, I'm like, I have 9 months to like convince this man that like, or like at least like, you know, roll this plan out, and like so it's not shocking to him when I don't go back to work. And I was like literally willing to like do anything. I'm like, I'll cut back on this. Like we don't have to like live this like
lavish.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
we'll just like live very simply. This is what I want. And so I went on my maternity leave. Like I really did have every intention in going back, but I just knew also I didn't want to. Anyway, with daycare and like the time it opened, closed, all of those things, like I literally couldn't go back to work going and like dropping him off at daycare because I couldn't drop him off early enough and I couldn't pick him up late enough for like both of our schedules. And like we just don't have someone else to be like dropping him off at 6:30 in the morning and then picking him up at 6 o'clock at night, like or at 5:30 and keeping him or whatever. And so I was like, okay, like, well, this is our reality now. And at that point, I already was on 3 months maternity leave. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm so tired. I don't feel like myself. I wouldn't say I had postpartum. It was more of like a culture shock. Like, I just was shocked of like what it took to care for another human to that capacity. You just have to nurture them and take care of them. So I was super shocked, and like Rob came home and like he just has his instincts of like, I'm hungry, I'm tired.
Yeah.
So then I felt like I had 2 newborn babies, and then I was thinking about him and the baby, and I just wasn't thinking about myself at all.
Yeah.
So I think I just was like, then I realized I can't stay at home, but I also couldn't go back to work.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
in between.
what do I do? So I asked work if I could go back. I'm sorry, they wanted me back, but I had to be full time. I asked for flexibility. They said no, which I was shocked because I was like, who wouldn't want me in any capacity, right?
Shocking.
Shocking. It was all shocking.
Where was this? What company was
Yeah,
this?
I can't
air them out. Just kidding.
And then I just like started doing marketing. So I'm in marketing, and I love it. Like I love working. I've realized that through maternity leave, having kids. Like I love talking to people. I love helping people. I love being creative. I love learning new things. I love brainstorming. I love helping businesses. So I kind of like was like, well, maybe I can like do this on my own.
Yeah.
So then it just fell in my lap where this smaller real estate company needed help, and she was redesigning website. It was like, oh, maybe I could design her website because I was helping a realtor from that company design a website. And she's like, actually, I kind of need someone in the office. Would you be willing to drive 15 minutes and come into the office and be like our office manager and do all of our marketing?
I'm like, yes.
And I was like, can I do it 3 or 4 days a week instead of going in 5? And she's like, yeah, that's perfect. We agreed on a price. I went in. It was wonderful. She was wonderful. I learned a ton from her. She was like, had the business for so long. So I learned a ton about real estate and that whole industry. And then COVID hit, and like I want to say I was like a year in, and I was like, oh my gosh, if I get laid off, I'm going to have 2 kids at home and I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom, which is like great for people that want to do that. But I had already made up my mind, like, I don't want to do this. And it was like, I didn't want to do it with 1 kid. So like, how could I do it with 2 kids?
You want it to be like half in, half out.
Yeah. Like I wanted, like for my sanity,
yeah.
I needed to work, be home, be the designated parent, like the default parent. And I wanted to like just be there and do I wanted to do all the things. So I started my own company and I started marketing I put an ad out in our like local newspaper, The Wanderer.
Yeah.
And like people were calling me from like Martha's Vineyard and the Cape and
how nice.
Yeah, like all over.
Yeah.
It was like a apartment company that was like, I need help with this. So random stuff. And then I got a bunch of clients. I was doing good, but I was one person. So it was that just like fast forward 4 years from there, I like was like, okay, I think I need benefits. I think I need to kind of like hang my hat somewhere. And I'm like, I don't know what, I don't want to have to commute. And I found another job and I was like, all right, this is it. Like, I'm going to be a marketing manager, which I was before at my other corporate job. I was like, I'm going to kill it. I go back to work and it was like wild. Like, the culture was shocking. It was super fast paced for an industry that just like wasn't. The management was very old school, but also very negative. It was a super negative environment. And I just like, I was there for a couple months and my last meeting, I remember it vividly. The manager was, or the, part owner was like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, you're not screaming at each other and getting what you need from each other. Like, I want to be able to walk by your office and hear you yelling at each other. That's how passionate I want you to be about the work that you're doing. And I was like, I was like, oh my gosh, like for me to get to that point, I will cry.
Yeah.
Like I'm just not that.
Yeah.
So I like closed my laptop and left.
Right on the scene?
No, I like went back to my office and I was like, I texted Rob and it was Mother's Day weekend. I remember Mother's Day weekend that weekend. And I was like, I either have a Mother's Day weekend this weekend or I'm working all weekend.
Yeah.
Literally would come home every single day, work crazily. I just like need to prove myself. I just felt like so like
too much.
Yeah. I went from like having a really good balance, owning my own business and doing things the way I wanted to do it, to like feeling like I was making air that people breathed.
Yeah.
And
not fulfilling.
No. So then I found my job that I have now and I just love it. I love everything.
And you're there half the time? Like
I'm there from 8 to 4.
Daily? Like Monday through Friday?
Daily, a town away. Do marketing.
So nice.
They're so grateful, supportive, amazing.
Yeah.
I love going in. I love everyone there. Like, I'm just waiting for the shoe to drop because I just had such a shit show of a work environment before that I'm just like,
when's it gonna happen?
Yeah.
That's like so good.
A breath of fresh air.
Yeah. And that's like hard to find, I feel, in the workforce. And how long have you been married? Random, but I'm like
8 years.
Wow.
9 years. It'll be 9 years this year.
Can somebody fact check that?
Yeah, no, I have to think because it's 1 year older than Nixon because I didn't know, but I was pregnant on my wedding day.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's
so,
actually so sweet.
It's great because then I remember like however my oldest child is, that's
the year.
How long I've been married to my husband.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll never forget.
That's so cute.
And I was able to enjoy my wedding day.
Yeah, because you didn't know.
I had no idea.
Thank God.
I know.
Imagine.
Everything's fine. He's fine. We're good.
Everyone's good.
Not pregnant now. Cheers. Thanks.
And never again.
Never again.
But there's nothing wrong with being pregnant. Just not going to be for us anymore.
Oh, wait. That was like a really long-winded work story. So I'm sorry about that. So
we're here for.
Guess what?
What?
We're going to talk about you.
No.
How long have you been married for? How many kids do you have? What are their names? Who's your favorite?
This is an easy one.
How long have you been married?
I have been married for 6 years, but we've been together for almost 11 years.
Oh, I would never be able to answer that.
Oh, I did, because him and I, like, we worked together for 4 years before we even dated.
Scandalous.
We did not like each other. Like,
really?
yes, there was no. He had a girlfriend, I had a boyfriend. We had like a lot of banter that was like not even like flirtatious. Like we genuinely like didn't really like each other that much. Like
That's really funny.
it is like a lot of my close friends, like it's like shocking that we ended up together, because like there were years where like I would go into work and I'd be like, I can't stand this guy, and he would say the same thing about me. Yeah. No, look at us. Still can't stand each other. Just kidding. But we worked together for like 4 years, so we like knew each other really well, and then we both became single, and we kind of just like all of a sudden just like looked at each other differently. I feel like at the same time, and this is definitely for a different time, but I was with someone for a very long time who just like where it was just like not a good relationship, and Kyle just completely like changed like my view on like relationships and love and how to be treated and like how to trust someone and like just someone to like take care of you. He like brought me into like another world, is what it felt like. So that's how we met, and then we got pregnant like right after we got married. So my daughter Hadley is just turned, no, not just turned, she turned 5 in July. And then I have a son, Grant, and he turned 3 in November. So I have one boy, one girl, no 3 children. And I have one of each. So it's different because like I always saw I have a sister. My sister has 2 daughters, and there's no boys in the family. So I have no idea like what to do with a boy, how to play with it, like no idea.
I mean, I have 3 and I still am like,
right. So imagine how like shocking, like, and you have a brother, so it's like
he had 2 older sisters.
No, I know, but like you know how to like like it's just like boys are in your family, you know? So it's like I feel so bad saying this, but like when I was pregnant with Grant before I knew it was a boy, I was just like, please, like let this be a girl. And Kyle really wanted a boy. And I just had a feeling. I was like, I just know it's a boy. It felt different than my pregnancy with Hadley. And we did like a little gender reveal, and like I had to stop recording because I was just like, not like I love him so much, and he did something so different to my heart. Like I love him so much, but like I'm just like, what am I doing with him? Like even like Kyle will still laugh at me when I'm playing with him. I'm just like, rawr. Like I have no idea what I'm doing. And but I think it's really special to have like one of each, because you have a different No, it's okay. It's okay. I don't even like Hadley that much. I really don't. I think I was like talking to one of my friends, and like I was like having this conversation, and I was like, I was just so scared that like, what if I have another kid and like I don't love them as much as I love Hadley?
I think that's a normal feeling.
Yeah, but my friend was like, and then you had a boy, so you won't need to know what it feels like, because you'll just love Hadley the most. And I'm like, you're right. It's just like a mom-daughter connection. It's just like different, and it's all I know. And Hadley was like my first one, so I feel like you always have like a certain bond with like each child, right?
I think I hear that changes though as they become teenagers.
I don't even want to think about that. Like
I love how people are like, "Oh, you think it's hard now? Wait
Just
until they're
wait."
teenagers." And I'm like,
know.
"Can you not say that to me?"
That is
because
such
it
a
is
pet
hard
peeve.
now.
It is
Okay,
hard
like
now.
I cried 5 minutes before having this conversation, so like I don't need you to chime in of like how much harder your life is now, or like how much harder
it's gonna get worse.
Teenager years were.
No, I don't want to hear it.
No,
because I'm already upset. You know what I mean? Like I don't need to like think about like future depression.
Right.
Like I'm already in it.
Yeah.
And my kids they're 2 years and 4 months apart. So She's 5, he's 3. So I always say I'm in like the thick of it and like the thick of the toddler era.
Mhm.
So it's like I don't want to think about like a teenager, you
Mhm.
know? Um so yeah, I have 2 kids and I feel
Wait,
like
go
what
ahead. No, I'm like cutting you off.
no, go ahead.
Well, like you were a stay-at-home mom for a bit. Like
4 years.
yeah, 4 years. So
Hmm.
like talk about that and also like what you're doing now.
So the same kind of thing happened with COVID. I worked my field is in psychology, so I've done everything like I worked on the psych ward at St. Luke's for a little while, which is like the hospital nearby. I worked investigating elderly abuse and neglect for 5 years, like worked closely with like the DA office. I was in court a lot, just like advocating for like any type of elderly abuse. So I did that for 5 years. And then while I was doing it, I felt like burnout. I feel like when you have a job like that, like you give so much of yourself and it's just easy to feel drained. And I remember just every day being like, I hate this feeling. And I would get cases that would be kind of bad. And I wouldn't feel as like affected when I read it, and I'm like a very compassionate person and I like love people. So I was nervous that I was like losing that part of myself that I like loved about myself, which is like loving people. And
Mhm.
I wasn't like affected by anything that I was seeing. I turned like numb. Some people in that field take their work home with them, and some of them completely shut down. And I felt like I was getting really shut down. So I was like, I think I just want to do something like fun, and my mom's a hairdresser. I've always wanted to go, like be a hairdresser, and we didn't have any kids. So Kyle was like, if you want to do it, now is the time. So I quit my job and I went to hair school. And when I quit my job, 4 days later, I found out I was pregnant. And I was like, oh my God, like, what did I just do? So I went to school pregnant the entire time. I had Hadley
How
two
long is hairdressing school?
a year. So I had Hadley 2 weeks early. So I had her and then I went back and like passed my boards after I'd already had her. And then I got my license for hairdressing. And while I had her, I stayed home and then COVID happened and she was 6 months old. And I was kind of like, well, no one's like, everyone's out of work now. And I've been home with her this whole time because I was already out of work technically because I was just in school. And Kyle has his work where he works so much all the time. So at this point, it was like, just stay home. Like everything shut down anyway. And that kind of just, not like the downfall, but that kind of just led us into like, I'm a stay at home mom now. Because by the time things opened up again, it's like it's costing me more money to put her somewhere and for me to go back to work. Like it just wasn't balancing out. So I was like, I'll just stay home with her. And I loved staying home with her. Like I was so grateful to do it, but it's also like very lonely. So I didn't work part-time at all for 4 years. I stayed home. And I think it's just like a balance of like loving being home, but like missing work, but not wanting to go to work. And then wanting your husband to be home to help you, but knowing that he has to be at work in order for you to stay home. And then wanting to see your friends, but then when your husband gets home, you need to see your husband, so you don't have time for your friends. And my mind was like always doing like that, you know? So I stayed home for a really long time. And then once she started going into school, I had Grant in the mix at somewhere in this point. I'm not sure when. But
Well, Hadley was what, 3 when you had Grant?
yeah.
Okay.
So I still stayed home with him.
Mm-hmm.
So I was home with him for a while too, and I got that whole thing, which I love. Like I just love not having to like leave them when they're little and forced to go back to work. So I am like forever, that will never be taken from me, like that time that like I loved it. But there came a point where I was like, okay, like they're getting older. I felt like I did my part. I felt like I enjoyed what I didn't want to miss, and now I have to go back. So for some reason, I didn't think to myself like I need to go into a salon. Like I just didn't feel that way. I felt like I wanted to go back to the psych world because I had like a break to kind of what's like recharge. And I was like, I feel like I want to do that. So I was looking for like part-time work because Kyle does work so much that like when we talked about me going back to work, he's like, well, you can't work weekends and you need to be able to pick up the kids from school and you need to bring them to school. And I'm like, what magical job do you want me to find that like meets this criteria? So I was like, I'll go back part-time. So right now I work for a neuropsych company and I administer psych testing to people who are looking for a specific diagnosis, to have a specific medication or whatever they need for work, or just like regular mental health reasons. And then I am the supervisor or manager on the East Coast. So my company is out of California, but we have all East Coast offices, and I am in charge of the East Coast offices of like all the different we have 3 different locations, so I have to do like all the ordering and the testing and everything that is related to the East Coast. So I do that. I test like 2 times a week, and then everything else I work from home.
Oh, that's really nice. I didn't realize that.
So I work like it depends. Like sometimes I'll do like 2 to 3 tests a week, and I'll go in and I'll administer testing, and then all of like my supervisor managerial roles is like from home. So I kind of have like a mix. So I work from home, but my testing is like 4 to 5 hours. So I leave my house at like 7:15 and I'm home at like 1:30.
That's really nice. So you did find a magical job.
I did.
But you obviously can't drop off the kids in the morning on those 2 days.
No. But I do like Kyle is like the morning mom, and he does like breakfast, like gets them ready for school. Well, I get them ready, like especially Hadley, like her hair, God forbid. So I'll do.
Are you more her hair, God forbid, or is she?
I was, and I've turned her.
Okay.
So like I've created what the problem is. Okay. You know what I mean? So I'll admit it. So like I'll get her ready, I'll get Grant stuff ready, I'll help prep, but then he does like the drop off on his way to work because I already have to be at work. And then I will pick them up and do like all the other stuff. But that's like I like love doing hair. I don't know. I feel like I've definitely struggled with like finding what I am drawn to. So that is like a journey that I don't know.
And getting paid for it, right?
Yes. Because I was a stay-at-home mom and I loved it, but I knew that that wasn't going to be like my forever fulfillment. And then when I thought about going into the salon, I was just like, oh, I'm going to miss like this other stuff. And my dream job, aside from this, my podcasting career, I wanted to be a marriage counselor.
Oh, that's a good one.
I was in like 8th grade. I love love. I love relationships.
Diving into like all their stuff.
I love mediating. Like I'm not a judgmental. Like when my girlfriends like bring me problems, and I'm like, well, I will dissect it from like every which way. Like I feel like I give good advice. So I've always wanted to do that. And I know I have to go back to school for that. And I'm just like, that's like opening up a whole nother, And Kyle's like, after that, will you be done? Because I'm always like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do hair. And I'm just like looking for whatever is going to like make me feel good. And everything has made me feel fine. But I don't think I found what is like the fire inside of me. Like maybe I won't, like Kyle's just like, I would pick up trash off the side of the road if I made good money. And I'm just like not like that. I feel like I'm looking.
I mean, trash men and women make really good money.
They
you
do.
Should tell them that.
I did, because I would love for him.
I'm like, sure they make a lot of money.
Do it. No, we looked it up. But at the same time, like I do these things and I'm like, is this what I want to do though?
Well, okay, so I hear what you're saying, but I also think that like you need to think that that's a good way of thinking. Like that's like a lifelong journey of thinking.
It is, but
you're not just gonna like flatline. No, you're always gonna, no matter what, the grass is always greener.
Yeah.
And you're always gonna want something different. And I think that shows that you're someone that grows and like is a learner, and like you're not just like gonna be at your house and like rotting on your couch. Like you will do that sometimes. I know you love a good rot.
Yes.
But like you're not just gonna go to work, come home and like go through the motions.
No, but it is tiring. Like continuously looking for something that's going to make me feel a certain
I
way.
agree. Yeah.
So I'm definitely on that journey, but I have felt good in like the stay-at-home mom thing, but I can't do that forever. Just because of like life and just because I felt like I didn't want to miss out in the beginning and I don't feel like I did. And now that they're older, I'm like, okay, I can go back out into the world.
Mm-hmm.
So right now they still need me at home. My husband works the most, so I'm part here, part there. But I feel like that's where our like title came in.
Yeah. So like segue now into like how Workingish Moms actually like came about as like
This
the name of our podcast.
is because like we kind of work.
No. Well, yes, but
Yeah.
like we all, like as moms, like we all work. Like whether you're a stay-at-home mom, whether you are a part-time mom, whether
Yep.
you,
Work from
um,
home and the office.
yeah, like whatever your scenario is, like we all work our asses off
Mm-hmm.
for our families, and like everything that we do is like to better our whole family's lives.
Yeah.
And you know, as dads, as moms, as parents, as husband and wife, like we're all just like trying our best and trying to like get ahead and do well and do our best.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if like you're making doing your best is not like technically getting you a paycheck. Everyone's work is work, and
Yeah.
everyone's hard is their hard.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that like for me it was like, you know, the working mom, stay at home mom, there's like titles that we all have, but like I don't want to like take a title away from anyone. Like we're all moms,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't matter like where we show up and if we get a paycheck, like we're just trying to do our best.
Yeah. And especially like I was a stay-at-home mom and I've been a working mom, a part-time mom, like working
Right.
from home. Like I've seen every avenue
Mm-hmm.
and they're all hard
Mm-hmm.
in different ways. So
Right.
it's like I've been in the thick of it and it's all really hard.
And like also we're all just trying to figure it out. So like your scenario of like work and life and all of
Yeah.
that could change tomorrow
Yeah.
because of like a different opportunity that comes
Mm-hmm.
up. Like obviously the internet's going to go wild when they see you. Like you are going to take off.
From our mouth to God's ears.
Right?
Because,
Yeah.
yes.
So, I mean, your
is-
working could be different tomorrow than it
Yeah.
is today. I feel like our connection is one that's like real.
Yeah.
Like it's ground, or like our foundation is like just what comes from like the depth of our soul, like just
Mm-hmm.
comes out of our mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like refreshing to talk to someone like you, but I also feel like it's going to be refreshing for other people to hear us talk about like a lot of the things that we've been through, that we're going through, that we
Mm-hmm.
think, because I feel like it's really hard to like meet other moms that like you feel like are on your same wavelength, or like say something that is like a little taboo to say,
Yeah.
or like
There's been a lot of times where I see things and I'm like, oh, I do that too.
yeah.
And like, I don't say it out loud, but like inside, I'm like, I felt more normal
yeah.
and understood because I was like, I thought that was like something only I did.
Yeah.
For some reason, we think that like if we do something, like we're the only ones who do it.
Yeah. Or like I make a joke to like someone at school or whatever, and like there's just like nothing on their face, and I'm like, oh my God, like
You're
I
like,
think
just
I
kidding.
just think that's funny. Like
Yeah.
maybe it's just me that thinks it's funny. But also I'm like, Kelsey, don't think too much into it. Like
Yeah.
they literally have no idea who you are as a human. So like you just shocked them.
Yeah. In
And
a
like,
good way.
yeah, and then I walk away, I'm like, they're gonna think about that for like the whole day.
They're
Like,
gonna
you're
love
welcome.
me.
You're gonna laugh when you get in your car, I swear.
May not happen right now, but in 10 minutes,
Yeah.
you're going to freaking love it.
Right.
It's so true. It's so true.
Yeah, so I think that like just having
Okay.
just having like other people kind of like make you feel like you're not the only one is like really important, because I think that when I was trying to figure out I'm still trying to figure out the whole mom thing, and
Yeah.
like what works for me, what doesn't, what works for my family, what doesn't, what works for each kid, because they're all so different.
Yeah.
And then also like how to navigate it with my husband too is like it's all been really hard. It's hard, and like being able to say that out loud, and like hopefully people are able to like ask questions
Yeah.
and like comment, and we're able to like have conversations based off of the conversations that we're having and things that are happening in the world. Like it's all really hard to navigate, and
Yeah.
everything changes so much. I mean, having Nixon almost 8 years ago to like today, it's not even just like, oh, okay, because now I have 3 kids and we've moved and
Yeah.
I've switched jobs, and it's like we had COVID. We like our whole world, not my world, like the world shut down.
Yeah.
We all isolated. You already feel isolated being
Yeah.
a mom.
Yeah.
It's just really, it's really difficult. And
Yeah.
I think that with that isolation too, some people were better than others asking for help. And some people just like with social media, especially, like they just want to show that everything's great and like, let me show my best side. And I don't want to put that on my grid because then it's there forever. So like, let me just put the things that are like
that I love,
the best,
yeah.
and like my kids, everyone smiling and everyone looking nice, and oh, his shirt was untucked in that picture, let me post the other one and not that one. It's like I just like, I want to be the reminder that like it's not perfect, it never will be, and like let's try to kind of get through this together, no matter like if we shut down again or not. And I hope that never happens again.
I hope that never happens again. But also that like brings us to the whole, aside from everything that we said, to do this for like just you and I.
Yeah.
Because it's like our life, clearly, we've been talking for how long, and it's like about our kids, about our families, about our, you know what I mean? So it's like to have time to like be with a girlfriend, have a drink.
Yeah, selfishly, like this is for us.
Yeah.
And like that's another element to it of like why this is existing, is because like we were talking before this, and I said to Renee, like, yeah, like let's like touch upon like what our hobbies are. And like, what was your response?
I don't have any hobbies.
Which is like, I know you're saying it and you're laughing and you're like kind of embarrassed, but like,
no,
that's actually like really normal. Like, and also some people it's not normal, that like they're like, oh my God, I have like all these routines and like this is what I do and XYZ.
Which is so amazing. Like I want to have hobbies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I don't know if I was telling you this, like people who read, was that me that I was talking to you?
Yes.
Like I want to read. Like,
I read one page and I'm like, I'm a reader. Like I never knew that about myself. I'm a reader. Like,
right.
You can literally be anything that you want, but I'm the same page, like pun intended.
So it's like I don't have hobbies. This is my new hobby.
Yeah.
You are my hobby.
You know, I like say to Renee's like, how often do you want to do this? I'm like, I don't know. Like, let's try for like every other week, maybe like once a month. And Renee's like, we need to like make this a priority. Like, because we don't do anything for ourselves. Like, let's try to shoot for a week.
Yeah. And it's like, to me, I say that knowing that that's not easy, but like I'm also saying it's like, because we're trying to make an effort to like do something for us. We can't do something for us once a week. You know what I mean? Like everything that we do takes like an effort. So this is just going to have to be an effort. And you listening as well. It's just an effort.
Yeah, like we're all supporting each other. Women supporting women.
Just support us, okay?
Like, follow, share,
or subscribe. She's not going to do this with me once a week, okay? Anyway.